Frankie Dettori, you can see they're just about to get a leg up from Saeed Bin Suroor. They've been so successful, Godolphin. They're going for their 10th. They've had 10 Group 1 winners in Britain so far this season. This would be number 11, and Diktat, of course, won the big race at Deauville last Sunday. Frankie, we saw at Newbury on Friday win his 200th group race. This would be number 201. This is Dan Silly. This is the tip that I've given to Laura Davis, because I think this horse is much more of a 1 mile specialist than Dubai Millennium. Dubai Millennium is dropping back in distance. He was very disappointing in the Derby, and he can be a horse that gets overexcited. Dan Silly, though, has been running extremely well over a mile, and actually won at Deauville earlier last month and set a very, very fast time. He was a bit disappointing before that over a mile and 1 furlong, but he won't mind these conditions too much. He has got form on soft ground. Dubai Millennium, Saeed Bin Suroor is pretty confident that he will cope with the ground. It's the distance that I think may just catch him out, because a mile really is very different to running over a mile and a quarter as he did last time at Maison-Lafitte, and of course a mile and a half when he was the disappointing favourite at Epsom. If he's behaving himself and he's a bit more relaxed, he's obviously a very talented horse. Venise, the filly who's the outsider, she'd have it all to do on form. Way of Light in the picture there on the right in the colours of the Niarchos family. He's been disappointing this season. But let's go and join Jim McGrath, who is in Deauville. As you can see, the conditions not wonderful. Jim.
Runners at the post now for the Prix de Haradafreni Le Bouffard Jacques Le Marois run over the straight 1 mile here at Deauville. We've had very heavy rain, 2 very heavy bursts in the last hour and a half, and the ground, although 4.2, very soft on the penetrometer reading, I would say it's probably even softer than that. All 3-year-olds in this year's field, 5 of them. Sendawar, of course, the important non-runner. And on the course, we've got a new favourite here now. Dubai Millennium has come in to be the favourite at 1.3 to 1. A 2.3 francs return for a 1 franc outlay, just going past Dan Silly, who's at odds of 6 to 4 in real terms. There is Dan Silly going forward. Slickley, who's today ridden by Thierry Janet. Slickley coming forward now, and that's it. They're just about ready. Stand by for a start, under orders, and they're racing. And in the early stages, Dubai Millennium right there in the centre is a reluctant early leader from Dan Silly. On the left of picture is Slickley, who's right up there in the early stages. Way of Light with the white cap on the right as they group right up, and at the rear of the field is Venise as they go through the first furlong, and it's Dubai Millennium who's going to have to do all the donkey work here. Frankie dictating terms on Dubai Millennium, leads by a length to sitting on his tail. Here is Olivier Pellier on Dan Silly, the pink cap just in behind. Then on the left of picture, the other pink cap there of Slickley, followed further back by Way of Light, who's in the white cap, and last of all still is Venise. They're almost in Indian file. The only one breaking order at the moment is Slickley on the left, but it's Dubai Millennium, who we know stays a very strong mile and a quarter, who's out in front here with ears pricked and doing it quite comfortably as they race up past halfway. Leads by 2 lengths to Dan Silly, who's now being popped a question, followed on the far side next by Slickley. They're followed then by Way of Light, and then Venise, who's now easing to the far side, racing up towards the 600-metre mark. This is 3 furlongs from home. It's still Dubai Millennium out in front here from Dan Silly. Slickley over on the far side. Way of Light just in behind them with a white cap on the right, followed by Venise. 2 furlongs left to race now. Frankie starting to get to work on Dubai Millennium. He's starting to stretch them. He's a length and a half, 2 in front now of Dan Silly. They're not making much impression at all. Slickley on the far side, followed then by Venise. A furlong left to go. It's Dubai Millennium, who's about 2 or 3 lengths in front of Dan Silly and Slickley, and Dubai Millennium switching his tail a little bit with 100 yards to go is going to walk away with the Jacques Le Marois. Goes on to win here by the best part of 3 lengths. A good performance. Second Slickley, third Dan Silly, followed by Way of Light and Venise as last of the 5. Well, he's outstayed them. A very, very testing mile it was indeed today in this Prix Jacques Le Marois. He went out in front there. He stayed all day, as you can see there. And a very good ride by Dettori, who, when no one wanted to go on, he then took his mount to the front. He knew that he was going to stay the trip. And there he is, beating Slickley in second. And in third place, Dan Silly, just ahead of Way of Light and Venise behind them. But a 3-year-old who at one stage was favourite for the Derby. He finished 9th in that race at Epsom. He clearly didn't get the mile and a half on that occasion. But he has won twice over 1.25 miles before today, winning the Predominant Stakes at Goodwood and also the Prix Eugene Adam. And this afternoon, with Frankie Dettori dictating terms up front, he made it a real stamina sapping test and has run them off their legs. Good performance in very, very difficult conditions as we have a look at them once again. And out in front there, Dubai Millennium, you see early that Dettori just waiting to see if anybody else would like to go on. They don't. Pellier drops in behind on Dan Silly, just in his slipstream, the leader's slipstream there, Slickly on the left. Way of Light is behind them, and further back is Venise. But there he is sitting on Dubai Millennium as they come up and look at the divots they're throwing up there. This ground is a lot worse, I'd say, than very soft. It's holding, maybe very much on the heavy side. But there it is as they race up past halfway. Here's Prix, Dubai Millennium in front. Dan Silly just sitting in behind. This is the horse who was runner-up in the French 2000 Guineas. Slickly, who was fourth in the French Derby. Way of Light, a Group 1 winner last year. And Venise just in behind them. And Venise no slouch either. But as they race up now towards the 2.5 furlong point, 500 metres from home, Dubai Millennium now just being seriously asked a question by Frankie, and he's getting a response. Dan Silly, you can see Olivier Pellier is riding hard there. His mount is not picking up at all. Slickly on the far side, and just behind them Venise. She's trying to produce a turn of foot, but they're really not going to get anywhere near Dubai Millennium, who runs on to score in quite convincing style. A very, very good win for Godolphin and for Frankie Dettori. This colt, Dubai Millennium, by Seeking the Gold out of Colorado Dancer by Sharif Dancer, owned by Godolphin, trained by Syed bin Sarur, ridden by Frankie Dettori.